Good evening, everyone. My name is Atahan, and I welcome you all today to today's online event with Startup Disrupt from the Female Leader Series. This time in Turkey on how it is like to be a woman entrepreneur in Turkey, like the hardships women face, the things they learn throughout their journey, and many more other exciting and crucial things for the future strong women entrepreneurs in Turkey. Startup Disrupt is a platform that educates, inspires, and connects entrepreneurs, startups, mentors, technology innovators, as well as investors and corporations, not only in the Czech Republic, but also within the startup communities around the world, including Turkey. And now we are on our way to becoming a global startup hub, working to make the Czech Republic a global hub for innovation. To begin with, just in a nutshell, what today's streaming program looks like, we will start with a panel discussion hosted by the wonderful Tara Lutman, co-founding partner of Go Global, and then we will jump in on the pitch night when the three startup founders will present their projects to us in 3 minutes, and our panelists will give them feedback and provide questions if there is any. And now I'm going to pass the word to Tara. And don't forget, you can send questions to the sli.do, and in the end, Tara will take those questions and discuss them with our panelists in turn. So thank you very much and enjoy today's stream. And Tara, it's yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Atahan. It's a pleasure to be here. Hello from Ankara in Turkey. As Atahan said, I'm the co-founding partner at Go Global, where we work with all people in the ecosystem, from startups, investors, corporations, and so a lot of that is what we're going to talk about tonight with these other women leaders from Turkey. I was born and raised in Silicon Valley, and I studied psychology, and then I went on to study information technology, and I was working for the US Department of Defense. We built a very large-scale data warehouse. So my experience is about how people build technology and how technology should be built for people. So when I met my Turkish husband and came to Turkey about 20 years ago, I started from scratch, but I realized that my role has been as a bridge, and I've done a lot of business development back and forth between Turkey and the US and other countries in the world. So my move to Turkey really gave me the platform to become an international player. In 2006, I participated in a women's leadership training program called Women Leaders for the World. And this really showed me the importance of leadership in business, in entrepreneurship, and women's leadership. And we learned the difference between feminine leadership and masculine leadership. And this is not necessarily women leading and men leading, but the difference in these kind of leadership styles. So when we hear from our panelists tonight, we're going to be seeing some of the ways that feminine leadership and masculine leadership have played into their journeys, into their careers, into their choices and the accomplishments that they've made. So in a little bit, I think we're going to be welcoming our panelists in, and we'll be having a discussion with three very inspiring, accomplished women leaders from Turkey, and I'm very pleased. I will introduce them, and then I'm going to let them tell you a little bit about themselves. But first, I'd like to introduce Professor Dr. Aytül Ercil. She's partner and CEO and chair of the board at Vispera, but she has very distinguished career, which I hope we will be able to hear more about in our conversation. And next, I'm pleased to introduce Elif Acar Ozguner. And she is the Deputy General Manager of Consulting Services at Microsoft, but she has had many roles throughout her corporate career, which we're going to talk about. And last but not least, I'm very happy to introduce Aysegul Ozkavukcu, and she is a lecturer and head of Migros UP Co-Innovation Center at Migros. So welcome, lovely women, leaders of Turkey. I'm going to start with Aytül Hoca. And Aytül Hoca, if you can just give us a little bit of your background. What started you on your career path? What was the thing in your younger days that you said, I'm going to go in this direction? You're on mute, Aytül Hoca.
Sorry.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you, Tara, for organizing this great meeting. It's an honor to be with all these great women. I was as far from entrepreneurship as it can be in my early years, actually. I was very academically oriented, always top of my class, always interested in reading. One of the first things, actually, that happened that changed my way of my career is Robert College, which was actually as a result of a chance, let me say, because I was going to a government school, and one day the principal said, "There's a great school called Robert College. Here's the forms for entry. I think you should take it." And later I learned that he has never done that to anybody before, because he thought, a person with not a very high financial background and not enough resources to take private lessons, etc., didn't have chance. So he has never said it to anyone before. But he gave me that chance. I've never heard about the school. I didn't know it. So I just went and took the exam and got in. That was one of the things that actually changed my way. And my career was actually decided in Robert College, because my last year, a computer came to school and nobody knew how to use it yet. And I was very intrigued. So I asked to form a computer club and learn it and teach it. So that's how I got interested in computers. And from that day on, I've been working with computers. I went to Boğaziçi University, studied electrical engineering, because at that time there was no computer engineering. Then I went to Brown University, did a master and PhD in applied math, worked at GM Research Labs for 5 years, and came back to Turkey. I taught at Boğaziçi for 13 years and Sabancı 13 years. But in the meantime, I was interested. Actually, being at GM was sort of another milestone in my career, because until then I was very academic. But at GM, I realized the satisfaction of turning research into product. So from that day on, I wanted to do applied work. When I came to Turkey, I went to industry and was sort of disappointed at the time, because the industry was not really into paying R&D money to universities. So then I started getting funding from European Union, America, Japan, whoever was funding it, because there was no funding at the time from Turkey. And I started doing applied work, solve industry problems without getting any help from industry at the time. Then we decided to find a company, because in the university we couldn't make products. I mean, we were doing the R&D, doing the first prototype, but to turn it into a product is totally different, and you need a company, a technological company, to do it. So we founded our first company, Vistec, together with 2 of my students. And to make a long story short, when I moved to Sabancı wanted to be a partner. So we partnered with Sabancı. We started growing fast. And then a German company, Revision, which is number 1 in Europe, number 3 globally, wanted to partner with us. And in 2013, we exited to ISRA. And then we started a new company, Vispera, together with the R&D manager of my previous company. So right now at Vispera, we're working in 23 countries, so exporting technology to 22 countries right now.
Wow. Aytül Hoca, I have more questions. I want to come back and talk about mentors a little bit later. And I want to come back and talk about the funding journey. So I have some notes here. I'm going to come back to them, but I want to go to Elif for a moment. And Elif, same question for you. How did you begin your journey, your career journey? We had a conversation before, and there was someone pretty influential in your early years. I wonder if you'll mention this person, just so the viewers can learn a little bit about you if they don't know you.
Thank you, Tara. I would like to start by saying a big, huge thank you to you and to Mete for involving me in this great environment, sharing this environment with great leaders, and having the opportunity to learn from the startup world, being a professional in the corporate world for a very long time. So if I go back to my story, I am an engineer by a university degree. I'm a MTU computer engineering graduate. And like you mentioned, who influenced me to be an engineer was actually my father. He was an electrical engineer. And I was born and raised in Karabük, where there is an iron and steel factory, which was full of engineers all around, all types of engineers. So I was really raised in an environment where there were many engineers. That was probably something that influenced me to choose engineering as a choice for the university. And I had great time at Matthew computer engineering. I admire Aytül for being a graduate of electronical engineering. That was one other choice I had, but I doubt I would be able to graduate if I had chosen it. I always find electronical engineering to be a more complex branch, and I admire her story from start to end. So after my years at Matthew, though I was a great fan of Ankara, because most of my friends have chosen to be starting their careers in Istanbul, I moved to Istanbul as well. And at the time I started my career, bank financial institutions were the companies who really valued IT, who used IT as a value differentiator, and I chose to start in that vertical to my career. I started my career as a system engineer at Credit Bank, and I'm always proud of having the roots of the bank. I still work with them, and I like everything they do. Uh, After a while working in the bank, though I have been in corporate life, I have realized what I am fond of is not staying inside a single organization, but going in and out to different organizations, learning from each of them and applying what I learned from each of them to the other. With that, I have chosen to move to what I would call a software sales vendor companies. And since then, I have been in the software sales business. And I am at Microsoft for the last 13 years. In Microsoft, in these 13 years, I have had the chance to accrue 8 different roles. Maybe I can resemble the startup world to Microsoft world from this perspective. Microsoft, although is a big giant as a company, it has a very agile culture where it allows you to innovate with your ideas, move to roles that resonate to your innovations or inspirations. And with that, I've been in Microsoft working mostly with enterprises doing large scale projects in different verticals, exciting projects to transform the organizations or to modernize the organization. That's basically my story. I always have loved being in technology, and I am as a second area of interest, I'm trying to lead the Women at Microsoft initiative within Microsoft Turkey to enable an increased number of women in technology, not inside Microsoft and inside our country in every possible area.
Thank you, Elif. I was hoping you were going to mention your father, and it was interesting that also Aytül Hoca mentioned this teacher of hers. They say often that behind every powerful man is a strong woman, and I think we can say here also behind these powerful women there were men that also encouraged and fostered the potential that they saw. So I think Aysegul has a similar story in that regard. So I'll pass it to Aysegul now. Same question for you, Aysegul. How did you begin your career journey? What were you thinking when you were younger would be your path, and how did you end up where you are today?
Thank you, Tara. And It's a pleasure to being here with these amazing women leader, and thanks to Meta again. So I'm an industrial engineer. Actually, I've chosen being an industrial engineer because I just want to develop something that I can leave a mark from my side to the world. And also I had an aim to improve the industry of my country while I was a child, maybe. And I believe that the theories should fit the practical life, and practical life should fit the theories. So in my real life, the private industry experience went through parallel with my academical life always. And I completed my Master of Science and PhD in also industrial engineering field. My expertise is about lean thinking, basically, and nowadays we are hearing from various companies lean transformation journeys, and it was 2004 that I met with lean thinking, and I'm a fan of it still. And also my other expertise is new product development and design, and mapping them with organizational strategies. That was my PhD thesis. And when I go back to my graduation from the college, then I started to work for Arçelik because they offered me a job where that I can improve my core industrial engineering skills, because I believe in that we should know the theory, we should know what's going on in the world globally, but we should have an ability to apply them in the real life. I really insist on this too much in my career and in my team as well, because we should transform the information to the knowledge by applying it in very simple ways, maybe. Then Arçelik was constructing a new plant in Çerkezköy, where that I cannot show the exact point of the Çerkezköy on the map, but I just accepted the offer, because that was one of my dream, that I was able to take a part of plants construction. I was the first engineer that they hired, and I had a chance to see the manufacturing sites, the assembly lines, mechanical part, plastical engineering, painting, or warehouse. So that was an amazing experience for me. Then, as a female leader, let me say myself, I just want to mention my milestones in my career. I decided to marry. So I just moved my city because of my marriage. And my second position was also in Arçelik, and that position was not serving to my values. That was a spare parts supply and planning engineer. That was a routine kind of job. And I'm just happy if I'm creating a new thing with a huge team, not just by myself. So that was a kind of job where I was alone in the most of my working time. But years later, I can understand that that was seen as a problem for me in those years. But now I can understand that I able to transform it into opportunity in my career, because in those years I began to my PhD, studying about my PhD. I learned Six Sigma tools. There are some degrees in Six Sigma, yellow belt, green belt, and black belt, and I learned how to use statistics in the real life. I learned it in Arçelik, not in university, unfortunately. And then the second milestone, I gave a birth. I have a daughter who is more than 9 years old now. And after my maternity leave, I just decided to change my position. Then in the after sales department, I began to work as a systems and project planning engineer. Yes, that was a kind of project type position. But after about 7 years later, I had a big decision in my career. I decided to leave from Arçelik, and I started a new journey. I took the risk, and I began to serve as a consultant to various plants, various SMEs in Turkey, and that was a consultation about lean thinking and basic industrial engineering functions of tools. And there was a mentor in my life who just learned me how to be a industrial engineer in the practical life, not in the theories. And also I had another mentor in industrial engineering field who is my advisor in university. I learned theories from my advisor, and I had a chance to apply them into real life with the guidance of my real life mentor. In those years, I tried to lead a lean transformation journey in an SME. But about 1.5 years later, I began to took some signals from my daughter, because she needs me in those years. She was just 3 years old, and I decided to change my life, not just my job. An ordinary person should maybe move her house nearby her company, but I just moved my company nearby my house. So yes, I began to look around 5-kilometer diameter around my house. Where can I work for? And maybe I was lucky. I began to work for Migros. It will be about 6 years now, and that was really matching with my career, my background, because I had a PhD degree, or in those years I was just trying to handle about my thesis, doctorate thesis, and I began to work for Migros R&D Center, where I can develop my theoretical skills as well, and I was business development manager, sorry, and I was responsible of conducting some technological innovations and radical process innovations in my company. And for about 5 years, we developed many kinds of radical projects in my company, and I can say that I had a chance to reflect my manufacturing experience into retail. That was an innovative way. And for about almost 1 year, we were thinking about how can we create a real relationship between our company and the startups. So we began to design a new platform, and actually at the beginning of this year, we launched Migros UP, and where is the co-innovation center of Migros and the startups. And I'm really happy that one of my dream came true in real life. Yes, I can say just now.
Aysegul, I'm going to ask you more about Migros UP a little bit later. When we talk specifically about Turkey's role in the global ecosystem, but you mentioned something about team, and also Elif mentioned something about team. So actually, I'm going to go back to Aytül Hoca and ask, since our theme tonight is leadership, women leaders in Turkey. I know from my father, who's also an engineer, he when he went to school, he planned to be an engineer. He never planned to lead teams or manage teams, but he found himself in this position. So perhaps we could what is your philosophy of leadership, Aytül Hoca? And how did you develop it as you found yourself starting companies and leading teams?
Well, I think the first thing is to be fair. I mean, listen to them and put yourself in their position and try to be fair and have them trust you. Trust is the most important, for me, trust is the most important aspect of any relationship. So I think that's number one. Really, they have to trust you. They have to believe that, you will do whatever their best interest is. You were going to say something, or?
I'm just going to ask you, how do you build trust? It's easy to say they should trust you. How do you build it? And what you just said, that you will do what you say you're going
Right.
to do. Yeah.
Well, exactly. That's it. You do what you say you will do. Because also show them that you're always thinking of their interests. For example, in the university, many professors were not writing recommendation letters for students who wanted to go to other universities because they wanted to keep them in their university. I never did that, because if it's to the benefit of the student to go somewhere else, I mean, they should make the choice themselves. So I always prioritize the other person's interest and needs, and that helps building trust. So I think this is really the number one thing. The second is learning to listen to them. I mean, listen to all their problems. Be their friend. Both in the university and in the company, people come to me with their boyfriend, girlfriend problems, or other problems. I mean, they know I will listen to them and try to help them. So I think that is also something that actually is something distinguishing in women leaders mostly, because we have the maternal instincts and we listen more, really. And open to criticism. And like in the university, one of the first things I said in my class was, please criticize me, because I cannot do better if I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So that's exactly the same thing I tell to my employees. Criticize, because again, I mean, we are human, we can all make mistakes, but unless we are told by others how they feel about what we do, we cannot correct it. Teamwork is another thing. I remember somebody has told me that Microsoft fired their best employee because he was not a team person. That always stuck to me very much. So being a team player is also very important. So just not think about yourself only, but think about the whole team and the whole goal. And be consistent, because if you do one thing one day and another thing the other day, that really confuses people. So being consistent is important. And maybe the last thing I would say is be a role model. I mean, be consistent in doing the same thing, what you expect from others, do it yourself too. Because I remember, for example, one guy gave promised a stock option to one of his employees. And when it was time to give, he said, oh, this is too much, and didn't give it. And the guy left the company. So, I mean, if you don't hold your promises, then you cannot hold people.
Yeah. Very good, Aytül Hoca. I took lots of notes as you were speaking, and when you were talking about, you brought it back to teamwork again, and I think this is also when I talked about feminine leadership. It is very collaborative. It is very relativistic, and so this is something I think women, in general, thrive in this kind of environment where they are supportive, collaborative. And I think Elif might have more to say about this. So Elif, I'm going to pass it to you. Thank you, Aytül Hoca. And what would you add to what Aytül Hoca said?
Okay. Again, Aytül Hoca, being a Hoca, has made a great summary of what should be present in a woman leader. I would prioritize myself as well. Let me go through it, and then I'll touch to the aspects you mentioned as well, Tara. I was just looking at what is important to be a leader, and what I observe in good leaders, that through literature as well. But first, every leader has desire to succeed. I think this is what we hear from Aytül Hoca's story and Aysegul's story, having her dream realized as well. So that is, I think, number one. Then it is followed by the pursuit of doing something new and unique. Not just going by the book in anything you do, from the smallest role you take to the largest leadership role you take, looking for what you can do unique in that role, which road that hasn't been taken you can take. I think that is an important differentiator as well. In today's world, I think one aspect we need to add to it is the ability to keep learning, continuous learning in a world that is changing at an incredible velocity. Stretching ourselves for continuous learning is critical for leaders as well, I think. Again, to me, leaders are more needed at times of crisis. So, responding to crisis are the way how we respond to crisis are important aspects of leaders, I believe. Learning from failures, I think, is a big asset. We all talk about many success stories here, but I think until you arrive at successes, leaders go through failures as well, and the successful leaders are the ones who keep learning from their failures, leave it behind, move forward, but learn from it. Another thing is, I think, persistence. It may be tied to the failure as well. Success never comes at the first try. You have to be persistent in what you believe and keep trying. Sometimes you may not have followers. You may have to build your followers for the idea, but persistence is critical. Again, in today's world, I think for leaders, fostering an environment that supports innovation and that enables learning for the whole team around you is critical. I think to be a good leader, you need a team around, as Aytül Hoca mentioned, and a good team needs an environment where innovation is fostered, I believe.
Elif, can I ask you a question right there?
Yes.
How do you foster this kind of environment? Because I think you've studied this, right? You studied
Yes.
this kind of cultural transformation. So, can you tell us, how do you foster this kind of environment?
Tara, it's not that I'm myself the most innovative person in the environment. It's not being a role model, like Aytül Hoca said, is important, but being a good listener, again, she has mentioned it at some point, being a good listener, being receptive to the characters around you, being receptive to the unique sides of the people around you, and adding diverse people to your teams, being inclusive in building a team, not following prototypes when building a team is, I think, the basis for building an environment where you can foster innovation. Once you build a diverse team, if you allow people to be themselves, and if you are lucky enough to have people who are self-motivated, who have drive to differentiate within your team, the environment is actually has all the basis needed for being innovative. That's what I believe.
It's interesting because you're working at Microsoft. It's one of the largest companies in the world, and these large companies are not known for being so agile. They're not known for moving so quickly. So to be able to create this kind of innovative culture and environment in such a big company, it's a good skill, a good thing to build into the company.
Absolutely. With our new CEO, Satya, Tara, actually Microsoft has gone through a huge culture transformation as well. And this fostering innovation, enabling continuous learning, being inclusive, being diverse, allyship, being a good ally as you move higher, even when you move horizontally. All of these have been built into Microsoft values. And when it comes from top to down, yes, it's difficult to move a huge body. But when you build it into the company values, it resonates. The message comes too often and consistently. Though as a big body, it seems to be difficult to move for Microsoft. Inside Microsoft, every unit is agile because every unit and every person is following the same principles. At one point, again, Aytül Hoca has mentioned about the importance of teamwork. In Microsoft's values, you are not accepted to be successful only if only you are doing your job 100%. You always have to work to make others successful, plus learn from others' successes and apply it in your own world as well. Those three values are building the core of Microsoft at the moment. So giving a big agility to a huge body like you mentioned, Tara.
Thank you, Elif. There's one thing that you said, and I'm going to use this to pass over to Aysegul. You said, walking down new roads, like walking down new paths, doing things that are new and unique. And a leader will have to say, like, follow me, trust me, listen to me, as they listen to others also. But in building this trust, they are encouraging their team to follow in their footsteps. Actually, this is one thing we learned about feminine and masculine leadership was feminine leadership is inspirational. It inspires. So by inspiring by being a role model, inspiring with an idea, with a vision, this is feminine leadership. And the masculine leadership is this top down, you will do this, you will follow me, everything will be okay, we're going this direction. But I want to go back to Aysegul on new pathways. And you said you just started Migros UP this year, right?
Yeah.
You said this year, yeah.
Right.
So one thing when you and I were talking, you said you noticed at Migros in 2019, startups were coming to Migros with more frequency because they wanted to sell their products, test their technology products, this kind of thing. And I think this is how Migros UP was born. Yeah. So you saw this opportunity to bring this innovation and this collaboration to Migros. So the question for you about your leadership philosophy and your leadership values, because you have something very interesting that has to do with self-esteem. Right. So maybe you can talk a little bit about your leadership values, but also how this idea that Elif mentioned, a new path, how this all comes together.
Thank you, Tara. And I think I will underline the similar things that Aytül Hoca and Elif already mentioned. And the priorest one is the building a trust-based relationship. That's crucial, in my opinion. But it's really difficult. It's inspiring, not just by saying, inspiring by doing is crucial also, in my opinion. And I can easily say that I'm sharing 10% of my working time for one-to-one sessions with my team for just coaching and mentoring. And they set the agenda, not me, because they are important for me. I should show them by sharing my time, my priceless time to them, and I let them to set the agenda. And I just want to say that we should know or understand their position or their thoughts. So we should combine both empathy and the perspective thinking. empathy is about our heart, and the perspective thinking is about our thoughts, our brain. So we should combine them in order to building I think the best team working environment. These are crucial, and I should say that we should discover together, we should decide together, we should deliver, and we should share together. And by being a role model or idol, maybe they can say that see the leaders as the ultimate person, or I don't know how I can say that, but there are lots of things to learn together. So I set some sessions that I didn't know before, and we decide together, let's learn being much more productive. Let's learn how to paint. Let's learn how to blah, blah, blah. And I should not know that ability or knowledge before. Discovering together engage people in the team with the leader as well, not just the team members. So that's my key. I'm using this for years. For instance, I'm an industrial engineer. I have many abilities to or capabilities to run in my business, but I learned in 2019 Python coding together with my team. That was new for me, and we discovered together with my team. That make us better, being a better team. And also, in 2019, again, I discovered my top values. That was justice, freedom, and being productive. And I define how to being a productive person in the life as it also consists of being innovative and sharing it with the others because I want to share the benefits, advantages of that thing I've learned for myself. So if a person already know or aware of his or her values, then if he or she can able to map with own values with the company's values, then we can form a team which is exactly running almost in a perfect way. And while I'm building a best team environment, in my opinion, the selection of the new team member is also so important. While I'm interviewing with a new guy, I'm just imagining in my in my mind as they are working together, they are having cup of tea together. So I'm making them talk in my mind while I'm interviewing. So we should understand the key points of the people who will join our team. And
I like what you said, Aysegul, about values, because Elif also mentioned values. You know, she mentioned soft values, and you mentioned personal values. And when they match up, you create a very good collaboration. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, thank you. And
I have a question for all of you. Sorry, Aysegul. What is the best advice? You talked about mentors and role models. What is the best advice you received from a mentor? I'll start with Aytül Hoca.
Well, one of the people who I believe was my mentor was Ziya Boyacıgiller, who was a great person, and unfortunately we lost him a couple of years ago. One of the things he told me was never look back and never say keşke.
For the people who don't speak Turkish, what does keşke mean?
I wish I did that.
Yeah.
So he said never say that, because you cannot change the past. Just learn your lessons and move on and look to the future. Don't ever look back. So this is one of the most valuable quotations I got from a mentor.
Good. Okay, good. I like it. Thank you. Okay, Elif, best advice you got from a mentor.
Okay, this one was from one of my ex-GMs. He told me to always be aware of the boundaries I set up around myself, not the boundaries others put around me, but the boundaries I set up myself, and break those boundaries whenever I realize I'm setting up a boundary myself, and he said this will allow me to realize my full potential. That is something I always keep in mind, and try to click whenever I see myself falling into the trap. It allows me to go towards my fears and towards the furthest I can go to, Tara.
Interesting. Going towards fears. That's good. Aysegul, what about you? What's the best advice you received from a mentor?
Yes, very hard question. And I think the most impactful advice came from my dad, actually, when I was a child. He just grew up me as he said to me, you can do whatever you want. Whatever you want, just work for it, just go for it. And nowadays, I just want to add another mentor who is my daughter. And she's challenging me actually, and there's a new term nowadays: learning, relearning, and unlearning. I think it's really difficult to unlearn something we lived for years, and she's challenging me about the areas that I should unlearn, and I should adapt new things into instead of them. So my dad and my daughter, I can say.
I love that you mentioned your daughter. It's this is like reverse mentoring, getting the mentoring from more and more I'm seeing this theme. At Go Global, we built an advisory board of youth under 30 because we wanted to hear what are their fears, what are they worried about, what are they excited about, and it has so much to add to the people that are building the technology now, the people that are designing and building the future now. So I'm really glad that you mentioned your daughter as one of your mentors, and unlearning. In psychology, learning is defined as a change in behavior. So unlearning behaviors is just as important as learning behaviors. So I'm glad you mentioned her. Okay, so I'd like to talk a little bit about Turkey right now, because we're talking about women leaders in Turkey. So I always say I fell in love with my husband, and then I fell in love with Turkey, and I've been here almost 20 years. And so I would like to hear from you as Turkey's leaders. What do you think are Turkey's strengths, and what do you think Turkey adds to the ecosystem, the global ecosystem? And I'll just go around in order again. So I'll start with Aytül Hoca.
Okay. Well, one of the things is we are faced with problems every day. So that makes us actually find practical solutions quickly. So also do multitasking a lot, because we really, I have lived in this country for a long time, and has never been a day that was not a new problem. I mean, when I look at the newspapers in some European countries or in the US, they talk about cats and dogs and, nature and, the problems there. We have huge problems every day. So we have to come up with practical solutions. Another thing is really the people. I've been involved in many European projects or international projects, and we were always one of the top 3 best groups in the project because of our people. Our people are really very innovative, very solution-oriented, hardworking. So we have, well-trained people, and in fact, a lot of people says the English level is also an important factor. I mean, like we're partnering with an American company now, and there was a competitor from France, and they said they had a hard time communicating. They said that it's very easy to communicate with us, and that was one of the reasons they chose us. So I think that's another strength that is usually not talked about. So it's really, these are the things that came to my mind right now. There may be more things.
Good, thank you. Let's see what Elif adds to that. What are Turkey's strengths, Elif? Because you're at a multinational company, so you probably have lots of interactions with other countries. What what do you see as Turkey's strengths? What does it add to the ecosystem?
Some of the things I would name would be again maybe similar to what Aytül Hoca says. I would phrase it as resilience because, like again Aytül Hoca said, we deal with many types of problems at different times. I think we are strong in adopting to change, and just even if we fall down, rising up quickly and continuing on the way to achieve the target. So I will say resilience. Well-trained people, I would like to repeat that as this team we see inside Microsoft as well. We have very, very high quality consultants, architects, developers from Turkey that are going to very critical roles inside Microsoft global organization in every part of the organization. If I look from a broader perspective, I would say, I said I am leading the consulting services. When I look from the consulting services, I see Turkey's strength is being a manufacturing hub in the geography we are as a differentiating factor. We are a strong manufacturing hub, and we have the potential to digitally transform this manufacturing hub to, fly in this vertical. Another area where Turkey is strong is this startup and ISP community. I think in the recent years we are doing beautiful things within Turkey's ISPs and startups. So those are the couple of things I can think of right now, Tara.
Thank you, Elif. Okay, Aysegul, same question to you. What do you see as Turkey's strengths? What is it adding to the ecosystem?
First of all, I'm the fan of my country. Actually, I just want to see our countries, even it's economically developed in the next years. I just said that Turkey has a strength that we already experiencing uncertainty and unknown things even every day. There is a concept called VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. It's new for developed countries, but it is it's not new for Turkish people, in my opinion. We are already problem solvers, and I just want to, I'm tend to see the positive sides of every situation. For instance, in the pandemic, I think the going global became easier than 2 years ago, in my opinion. For instance, in the last year, I attended 2 big organizations from EIT, European Innovation and Technology Center platform, and even if I had, even if I can afford it, I had no time for traveling so frequently. But I can say that in those global events, I'm really glad to see the Turkish students, PhD students, or other researchers in those organizations. So I can say that this pandemic made the borders smoother. So it's a big chance for the Turkish people who already hardworking or equal in just their education or capabilities, but we are at the behind of the people from developed countries in just economically, in my opinion. But we should create a transformation because of these global environment.
Aysegul, I like what you said, that it's now easier to go global. Because of the pandemic really sped up our ability to connect through technology. So we have about 5 minutes left of our conversation. So what I'd like to finish with is what you're most excited about the future. What excites you most about the future?
Well, for me, actually, when we started Vispera, our goal was to have the first high-tech unicorn from Turkey. So that would be what it would excite me the most. We already have 2 unicorns, but they're not in high-tech areas yet. So that would be my excitement, I think.
Okay, excellent. Elif.
To me, Tara, we are lucky to be witnessing a period where technology is evolving at incredible velocity and is now capable to resolve not only enterprises' problems, but now people's problem, the world's problem. So it excites me the most to be able to witness how technology will advance the life we live in the next 5 to 10 years. With this much data being produced, with human beings thinking very focused on how to produce insights and value out of this data, how to use artificial intelligence to resolve problems before they happen. I think we will all be seeing very exciting changes in our daily lives. That is what excites me a lot.
My dad always says it's a great time to be alive. Exactly.
Absolutely.
For the reason that you're saying.
Absolutely.
Okay, Aysegul, what are you most excited about the future?
Yes, I set a dream for myself as my personal strategic goal. I just want to create a positive impact on Turkish industry, and it consists of also self-esteem skills. We need to develop in the path of self-esteem, and that's my dream. I just want to see my country in a powerful position in the next years.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thank you all. It's been a pleasure for me to, as we prepared for this evening, get to know you all a little bit better and to lead this conversation and hear about your experiences, how you got to where you are today, the advice that you received, what you're excited about. And I think Startup Disrupt is positioned itself to be a kind of global hub for entrepreneurs, for innovation, for connecting resources. So it's a real pleasure to be able to highlight the women leaders of Turkey. And I'll be very excited to see the first high-tech unicorn come out of Turkey. Also, Aytül Hoca, maybe Vispera will be this. And I look forward to following all of you in your work as you go forward. And it's been my pleasure to moderate this conversation tonight. So I think Atahan is going to come back on and we're going to hear from 3 startups tonight, right, Atahan?
Yeah, exactly. I would like to thank you for a great discussion. It was really lovely to hear about your experiences, ideas, and opinions about certain stuff. It was really lovely. We will now have the pitch night and 3 founders of super projects performing tonight. They will each have 3 minutes for their presentation. And after that, I really would like you, our speakers, and our moderator, Tara, to give them a feedback. I now would like to first give the word to Lala Polater, who is the founder of Hargelis Scooter. Lal, the stage is yours.
Hello everyone. It's been a great speech, great conversation, and I'm really pleased to be here. So I'm starting away. I'm Lal from Hergele. Hergele is an electric scooter manufacturer and a shared mobility fleet builder. As Hergele, we design, develop, and manufacture the next generation means of transportation. We have hundreds of Hergeles out there. Our end user products found their way into our customers' daily routines. But we didn't just stop there. We've also developed our own sharing software. And now today, we provide our customers all that one person might need to start a shared micromobility fleet. What we aim as Hergele is that we want micromobility culture to spread all over, but not just in overcrowded metropoles. We want micromobility to be in every city, every town, no matter the size or population. We reduce the time to market and the overall costs with our services so that we enable this market to expand to more operators and to larger audiences. With a quick look at our first step target market, though, the European market size for micromobility is told to reach $100 to $150 billion in 2030. And the main problem with the market that we came face to face was, especially in the beginning, was the lack of diversity. There was one option and the similar ones, both at the end user side and the shared mobility side. And at that point, we embraced the modular concept, both in design and production. And the great thing about production is you have all the control to fit the needs of your customers. We are now building micromobility fleets with both our own hardware and software, enabling us to tailor each fleet, especially for each client's needs. These needs, are usually based on the client's urban parameters, and we are here to provide and improve the operations which our customers will be leading. And our biggest difference here is that we improve the operations while we are providing the needs. Hergele, on the other hand, is a small team of engineers, designers, and developers, all from ITU. We have our own production line, years of micromobility know-how, EV design experience, the supply chain, collaborating firms in case of urgent capacity needs, and the software for the future fleet operators. As Hergele, our first attempt to this market was a crowdfunding campaign with our end user products, which we completed with a success rate of 148% and validated our products in the market. We've established our first production line with government grants. We delivered 2 fleets and also our first export to England. During our campaign, we've also completed our Horizon 2020 project and now thrilled for the 2021 one. We've designed the future electric vehicle with a consortium made up of partners like Surge and University of Firenze. And now today, we have 3 different fleets on our production line from different cities in Turkey. With this team, we've come so far, and now we are striving for expansion and getting Hergele's vision to the global scales. Thank you for listening.
Wow, that was great to hear. Thank you for a great presentation.
Yeah, thank
and now
you.
I will ask our panelists about the feedback and questions if they have any. So what do you think? Do you have anything to say about the presentation?
Very impressive, Lal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
My question for you is, what's your biggest challenge right now and your biggest need?
My biggest challenge right now, as you just mentioned, the unpredictability of this country just gave us 20 days of lockdown, and we were just starting a production process. Now we're still available. It's still available for us to go on and do our jobs, but for many customers and clients, and we aren't going to be able to meet with them and etc. So my biggest challenge is unpredictability, I guess.
This is what Aytül Hoca said is Turkey's biggest strength is being able to solve these problems because they come up every day. So maybe some of the other panelists have questions or comments for you.
We developed some kind of muscle for easy. We just became so easy to adapt to anything because anything happens in any time.
Yep.
Lal, I think it was a great presentation too. Congratulations. What is the unique selling point that prevents competitors to, people with more money to come and sort of blow you out?
First of all, our competitive advantage would be like we offer the whole package deal, and we have the whole control in our hands, and the engineering side, in the design side, and actually the why wouldn't anyone come out and blow me out? It's generally because I'm looking at the unknown markets. Like I don't mean unknown markets, but unsaturated markets that do have these needs, but that can't be that can't really supply or enter this market with the right işbirliği.
Collaboration.
With the right collaborations, with the right partners, so that our biggest advantage in here, we have two big competitive firms in this site. One of them is providing the whole way to from China. The biggest competitor we have is Okai, and there is the Acton that is producing also in China and delivering them to their European warehouses and creating a supply chain over there. So our biggest advantage in this point is that in Turkey, if we manufacture these, we move the production line from China to Turkey, we are generating a possibility to easier to provide to European markets.
Great. Is there any other questions or feedbacks from our speakers? Or
I just want to mention that congratulations, Lal, and on the behalf of you to whole Hergele electrical scooter team. Hergele is the one of Migros UP's co-innovation project partnership as a startup, and we are just trying to create a new vehicle for warehouse mobility, micro mobility, and that was our dream coming true. The early stage of new product design phase, we have many decisions, enormous levels of decisions, and we are opening our platforms to testing their MVPs together and creating that iterative cycle together. And it was proud of me to see Lal as a great presenter. Congrats.
A great one, but a really stressed and shaky one. I'm sorry for that.
no, you did
I'd like
perfectly
to jump.
well.
I would like to jump in as well. A great presentation, Lal. Not only the idea, but the way you presented and articulated is really, really great. We haven't felt a bit of the shaky feelings you had. I may ask to understand the business a bit better, or how you see the business growing in the fleet management, and maybe some of the use cases you may share in how you will grow the fleet part of the business.
Okay, so we do have some different possibilities in front of us, but we are choosing the path to create fleets first, but the fleets will be operated by our operators. We won't be doing any operating, but we want people to be able to bring the micromobility culture to their own hometowns. Like, the rental bicycle shops in everywhere, they're just everywhere. And we just don't want the micromobility to be stuck in metropoles where the big players just play, but also there should be like, let me tell you, just a client just called me today from one, and they just want to start a micromobility fleet. We just saw we just saw the electric scooters there, and can we purchase them from you? Can we operate them here? And I was able to say yes. So this is my original business plan. Though this business plan just lets you do actually anything that you can go for. This is just my vertical. Yet I am able to with our our own developed software, I'm able to track anything that with an IoT device in our servers. So people just can do this for their hotels, to do this for their warehouses, and especially with Ms. Aysegul, we are developing a new product for warehouse mobility. So we will be able to track them if they if it becomes a necessity, etc. But for the future, I believe people this will become something just like a passive income for the people, like have your own fleets and go out and operate five under my brand name, and then it will. My vision for 3 to 5 years is that it will become just like a passive income, like a stock market for these things, actually.
Perfect, perfect. How did you set up your sales channel for lead or individual? Are you going through partnerships? Or what's the sales channel structure you set up for her?
Our sales channels are mostly based on collaborations, actually. With the we are strongly connected with anyone in the micromobility market today. So we sometimes supply our products to the micromobility fleets that are present in this day, or else people just find us through our websites or social platforms to ask if we do things like that. And our B2B channels are mostly on LinkedIn, and so we haven't done much marketing actually on this part. We
so
just have our blogs and
yeah, people find you and reach out to you. That's how the sales is working. That's
exactly.
Well, thank you for your feedbacks and questions and everything. Personally, I really like what you're doing too, Lal. It's really great to hear about your work, and it was a great pitch. And we wish you all the best in continuing in your business.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Now, our second founder, I give a word to Damla Dokuzoğlu, who is the founder of Etneva. Damla, it's your turn.
Hi, it's my turn. Nice to meet you, and thank you for the presentation. It was perfect. I'm Damla from Etneva. I'm the founder of the Etneva, actually. And what's Etneva? Etneva is the SaaS products in working for the mobile game industry, and they assume that you have the mobile game studio and you have the games, and you have lots of data about the player data. For example, your players are playing your game by buying something and jumping in the game and upgrading your avatars, or maybe passing some levels and collecting goals. All these events are collecting in the database, and most of the studios just check these events by, for example, some dashboards, some other extra flows, something like that. But our main purpose is the deep down in this data and understand the player's behavior more deeply. On this purpose, we create a product, is the Etneva. Etneva is the machine learning based, the data engineering and data scientist tool for the mobile game industry. By using Etneva, mobile game companies can understand their players' behavior more deeply, and then they can personalize their actions depending on this knowledge. For example, the most important case for the mobile games is the retaining the players in the game. When they acquire the players, actually they are paying for the advertisement, is the cost per install. Actually, to install the game, they pay for some ad networks. After they take some players, they have to actually earn more money for each players to make money for their game. For this reason, when they acquire some players, Etneva sends them a prediction or some knowledge about the players. For example, I'm Damla, I download the game and start to play the game. If the game studio is playing with Etneva, Etneva gives the information about the Damla. For example, Etneva says that Damla will play just 3 levels and she won't do any in-app purchase. With this information, they can personalize their game. And they think that, okay, Damla will play very short term and she wouldn't spend the money in our game. So we have to make money with her. And how? They can actually organize my game to spend the money or play the game longer or keep me integrated with the game. And now we are based in the Ankara. I'm the single founder. I have a team. It's the key team is collected from the general me as a data scientist, and the other developers are mostly related with the computer engineering, and they are working as a DevOps and backend and full stack developer. They're mostly actually handling the product things, and I'm handling the data science things. It's like if 2 years passed, or the 1.5 years passed actually, when we started doing and creating the AppNova. And after 1 year later, actually, we earned our first users and customers. Now we have 6 customers, 2 of them from the outside of the Turkey, and the 4 of them in the Turkey. They're based in the Turkey. Actually, what we give them by using AppNova, they can understand their players better way, and then they can keep them in the game in the more successful way, so they can earn more money with their own customers actually. There's a huge industry, especially with the COVID term, it became a much more bigger, and actually that's some kind of advantage for the people, because in the lockdown people became much more bored about the life, and they start to play more game. Actually, having fun is also useful for the players. They actually integrate with the game, and they keep what they want from the game. That's all actually.
Thank you. That was a great presentation. And now I will ask our panelists about the feedback and questions if they have any. What do you think? Do you have anything to say about Damla and her company?
Well, I want to congratulate her. Actually, I like seeing a female founder doing something with AI, which is to my heart. Actually, I would like to introduce you to some people who might help you. So if you write to me afterwards, I would like to connect you with someone.
Perfect. I'll send our sales deck, and it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
You got the right person watching me pitch today, Damla, with Aytül Hoca. Very interesting for me, because I got my start in technology with databases. So it's very, very interesting for me to see now it being applied in this way. You said you have 6 customers, 2 outside of Turkey. How are you acquiring your customers? How are you finding them?
Actually, is the LinkedIn is the best way to find the customers, because mostly the founders are generally the developers of the game. Then when I reach as a founder, they generally post back to me and arrange a meeting. It's easy for us actually, the LinkedIn way.
And I assume since you're a SaaS company that you sell subscriptions, that's how you're generating your revenue.
It's based on the actually number of players, because the monthly active players, and actually depends on the data science, because actually they are asking the question to AppNova. When new players come, they ask again to AppNova what she will do or he will do in our game. Each question has a cost, actually. Asking a question.
I see. Interesting. Okay. And how did you get the idea to apply the technology to this sector?
Before AppNova, I was working as an advisor for the data science advisor for the bank and insurance and FMCG, other kind of the industry. In ODTÜ Teknokent, I met a game developer company. I just chit-chatting with them. They says that, oh, we are doing the same thing. We have the users and we don't know what they will do. Could you solve this? And I said, okay, let me try. Give me a data. And it starts like that. Then I saw that I can solve the problem of them. And I think that I can make them a product for industry. Is a whole journey, actually.
Interesting. Well, good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Damla, let me jump in as well. Being from a technology platform provider company, I'm interested in the technology and platforms you're using for AppNova, for building AppNova.
Actually, mostly the algorithms and created in the Python libraries, and the base in the AWS. The whole our servings and other things are based on the AWS actually. The most of the part of the customers' data is collecting in the Google Cloud platform also, but we are acting in the AWS.
Is there a specific reason you chose AWS? Just for me to learn as well.
Sorry?
Is there a specific reason you choose AWS as a platform for cloud?
Yeah, actually, we both started with the Google Cloud platform, then we increase our integration and the relationship with AWS. Their team is perfect. They have a game tech team. They are giving what we want, actually, opening their own doors for us. Then we decided to continue with on AWS. They are also serving their marketplace for us, their partners, POCs, something like that is a perfect for us actually for this season.
Thank you, Damla. Thank you for sharing. And I think I agree with Acar Hoca. It's a proud moment to see a data scientist being a founder of a company. Congratulations, Damla.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. You're welcome.
Let me say something for Damla. Damla, congrats. First of all, I think you just picked the maybe the best part in the game industry, in my opinion, for the future. And I just checked your profile, and you have a very similar background with Aytül Hoca. You were a researcher as well in the university. And surprisingly, we have graduated from in the same high school, Damla. That was a surprise.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
proud to see you as a female founder, and you are doing amazing for in my opinion. So good luck. Hope to see you again. Mm-hmm.
I hope to see you again. As I'm really glad to be being in the same high school. It's interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, really surprising. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, any other feedbacks or questions? No. Okay. Well, thank you for your insights and amazing questions, and thank you to Damla for a great
Thank
pitch.
you for time. Thank you. Thank you, Ata.
We wish you all the best in the continuation of your business.
Okay.
And finally, Ayşe Yılmaz, who is the founder of Otan Studio, will come in and pitch her startup. So Ayşe, the stage is yours.
Hello, thank you. That was a great conversation and great pitches. It's so nice to be there. I will tell our story. I thought it might be more inspirational to tell this like a story. So maybe we can talk the details in the Q&A session. And hello again, I'm Ayşe Yılmaz, and I'm an industrial product designer and the founder of Otan Studio. At Otan Studio, we provide circular biomaterial solutions for the resource depletion problem. People are consuming natural resources 75% more than Earth can sustain, and 40% of raw material sourcing is made for the housing industry to make buildings and products. I believe we, the designers, play a very important role here as decision makers because we choose the materials to be used in a product or a space. When I realized this, I made a decision to make a change, and I find a way to design and produce with nature without compromising the environment. I needed to find an answer to how to do this. Then I started to ask more questions that lead away my Otan journey. While we are running out of raw materials, people waste 1/3 of the food, which equals 1.3 billion tons of wasted resources each year. So why don't we put them all back in a circle? Why wouldn't we use free peel shells and leaves instead of cutting down the trees? I thought I can do something, and I did. I found the solution on my desk, which is some leftover orange peels and made of biocomposite material by upcycling them. Since then, We have made more than a couple thousand of material samples, and right now we have a product portfolio of 24 different materials, from orange peels, leaves, nuts, and pistachio shells, coffee grounds, and more. And architects and designers from all over the world can use our beautiful, sustainable, and durable Atahan materials to design spaces and products. That was what I dreamed 5 years ago, and it's happening now. It was a tough journey, and it is still very challenging. However, it's so fun, and I enjoy it a lot. And it's good to be a leader in that global change of sustainability. Actually, that's all, but maybe I can give more details about our business. Okay, if it's over, follow back.
Thank you for a great presentation. And now I will ask our panelists about their feedbacks and questions, and maybe a chance for you to talk about what you wanted to. So what do you think, and do you have any questions or anything to say about it?
Whenever I get worried about the future and I hear a presentation like this, I don't worry anymore, because I know that the young people that are applying the technology to these solutions they've got the things under control. So I'm very inspired, and it makes me feel very hopeful, Ayşe, that someone like you is working on problems like these. I'm working on a project. I'm working on a project right now with an architect, and it's a very big project, and I immediately want to introduce you to him so that he can use all your materials. This is the first thing that comes into my mind. So let's connect, and I can introduce you to him. And my question for you is, what stage of growth are you at right now? I think you said you have 24 different products, but where are you in your growth of your company? Do you have customers now?
Yeah, we have customers now. We have started to acquire customers in the beginning of this year, and we have 7 projects right now, and we're fundraising. In the other hand, yeah, we are focused on the production because it's a challenging time because of lockdown. We're trying to make it better, and also we're fundraising, proceed funding.
And what will the funds you raise go for? What will you use the funds for?
We're going to use it for the production and scale it, basically.
Okay.
And also certifications, because we sell products to Europe, mostly to UK, and we need certifications to do this.
Is your company incorporated in Turkey?
Yeah.
Do you have are you incorporated in the UK?
No.
No. Okay.
We are in Turkey, but
okay. Okay, let's connect afterwards, Ayşe. I have one person to introduce you to and another idea.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I would also like to be connected afterwards. I might introduce you to some investors, and also like to learn more about your product. Because there is another company called BioLive that makes products from olive seeds, and I'm following what they're doing, and I love it. So I think you have a similar type of product range, and I would like to help if I can.
Thank you very much. BioLive is making a plastic alternative, but we mainly focused on raw natural materials like wood, stone, or similar ones, maybe acrylic ones. and we focus on the interior spaces. For example, our materials are better to be used in furniture or in on the walls or for the floors or maybe for the kitchen.
Yeah, I know you're not a competitor. It's just the sustainability and the using of natural products, and I like that idea of sustainability. So let's be in contact.
Thank you.
Congrats, Aytül. Let me jump. And I just want to announce again that we have a collaboration project with Atahan Studio as Migros UP, and we are trying to create an upcycling project, which will be the first in the retail industry globally. We are very excited, and I just want to congratulate you, Ayşe, because you found out a very smart and innovative way of using that wastes. Some waste are we cannot avoid waste in some degree. Whatever we are handling, we are trying to decrease those wastes, but we cannot avoid them. So I just want you to see in globally with your startup. And I just want to add that I think being a female leader brings that we are always trying to create networks, and we are trying to create some bridge between the people who will create beneficial together. Let's say this. Congrats.
Thank you very much.
I also would like to say congratulations, Ayşe. Tara has asked us what excites you about the future most. I think it's moments like these that excites us most about the future. Listening to young, talented, innovative leaders like yourself, I really felt proud while listening to every second of your presentation. What I can say, if you need any help about technology at any point, come to me. I can be a contact at any point you would need help, Ayşe. And I believe the partnerships you build, like the one you built with Migros UP, is critical to scale, to get your product heard by wider audiences. So you took the right step at the first step. That's a very conscious first move as well. I think that is important. Congratulations, Ayşe.
Thank you very much.
Us when you need.
Aysegul always support us, and I would like to thank you again.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for your presentation and feedbacks. Personally, I really like what you're doing as well. And it really amazes me to see these efforts put for the future. And thank you to Ayşe for your great pitch. And we wish you all the best in continuing in your business.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, here we are at the end of tonight's stream. I want to thank you all so much for taking the time to spend tonight with us. Big thanks to our panelists, Aytül Ercil, Aysegul Ozkavukcu, Elif Acar Ozguner, and lovely Tara Lutman as the moderator. Thank you so much for taking your time and also for your views on being a woman in Turkey, your experiences and your ideas and opinions for the future strong women entrepreneurs. We also thank all of you who watched today's stream and gave us your time. At the same time, I would like to invite you all to our event about green tech on 4th May, and you can already register on our website. Lastly, we also thank our partners, Hub, Girişim, TRAI, and Microsoft for Startups to make this event possible. We will look forward to seeing you again in our next events. For the whole Stop family, I wish you a pleasant rest of the evening.